Good morning, this is day 7 on the alkaline diet. So I didn't get a headache last night, really good, so I had a good night's sleep. However, I do feel a bit spaced out, and also got a dry tongue, but it's not dry, it can't be dry, it's just kind of, I think it's something to do with the poisons coming out. Anyway. So yeah, so I had the same kind of drinks last night. I had a pint of the mineral salts with the wheatgrass, and I'm not feeling the best that I can feel so far. However, going for the run yesterday and not having any pains at all in my legs is pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that. And also I think let's have a check my joints. Yeah, I've got pains in the actual joints themselves a little bit, but the actual muscles, there's no pain at all. So that's all cleared up. What Dr. Robert Young calls it is alkalosis, but what normal people call it is detoxing. So my body's going into a state of alkalosis, so I'm alkalizing my body, and it's going into my tissues, and it's pulling out the acids being the things that are causing the pain. Now, what I've been doing, also, my drinks I've been drinking, this smoothie one. This smoothie is the one which is, blended with all of the herbs and the avocado and spinach and etc. that's in there. Now that I think I was just re-referencing to what Robert Young was talking about, but when you blend it, it does become slightly acid. So I've been adding the alkaline minerals to this now as well, because I really need to try and build up my pH, and I'm going to start testing my urine now, because there wasn't any point before. I want to try and obviously increase my urine in the morning. Testing my urine in the morning. And I really want to try and get that really as high as I can, by any method I can. So that's now the kind of the new goal, because like I said, I'm feeling a bit better. Of course, I've got the emotional effects to take into consideration, which which are going to be a long. It's going to be a long road. So the alkaline diet is like going on a journey to a new location, and that's where you're going to live now for the rest of your life. And like when you come off the alkaline diet, it's like going back home and meeting all your friends, and so that's got to be my new life. This new location is my new sort of life. So yeah, I mean, yeah, so really, like, the alkaline diet is like, being alkaline is a bit like having a white canvas. Imagine a painting. So being completely alkaline is like having a white canvas, and then all the effects that take place in your body, your thinking, your movements, are acid, and that paints the picture on the canvas. So you know what Robert Young teaches, and you know is true, is that the body is alkaline by design and acid by function. So you're allowing your body to create the acid now, not the food, and that's what creates the picture of your life. So you find that your emotions are more dramatic, and you know, you're much more sensitive to things. You know, more like when you were young, you know, or when you were young, because your body, when you were young, was more able to eliminate the poisons, the acid from your body. So you were more alkaline. So as you get older, from when you were young to when you get old, you get more and more acid. So you're sort of more like when you were young, and you've got the same needs and also the same drives that you had, and you have to use your now mature mind to create a life that is that can manage those you know, those feelings, and you know, manage the way you go about your life, and not go into destructive behaviour. Also pointed out, you know, that I've been on the alkaline diet before, and you know, I failed loads of times, and I'm hoping that I don't fail this time. But just a little note that you can get drunk and not have a hangover on the alkaline diet. Brilliant. Well, that's when I was 21 I could do that, but you can do that. It won't last very long, obviously. You can probably do it two days in a row, maybe. But yeah, you know, it's you're just going to go back to what it was like when you were, you know, a lot younger. Now I've got a note here about pain and pleasure. Yeah, that's right, about pain and pleasure. Yeah. So when before I knew anything about the alkaline diet, my philosophy was that to create my own pain without so that pain doesn't get created for me. So you know, there's a theory about which I've described before, about the different ends of the spectrum, about, you know, like different things are at different ends of the spectrum, like pain and pleasure, is, you know, the way you feel. The two ends of the spectrum are pain and pleasure, and everything in the world is trying to create a balance, which we're trying to create a balance, so that but that doesn't mean it's in the middle of the two. It just means that one has to exist as well as the other, like, you know, like light and darkness. You know, you'd have otherwise you can't see the detail in things if you don't have if it's not kind of in the middle, if you don't have degrees of each one. So yeah, the same with pain and pleasure. It's just kind of a natural law of nature, maybe, that when you take a lot of pleasure, have a lot of pleasure, like for instance in the food that we're eating, you have to pay for it with pain, and that's kind of really understood by everyone, really, isn't it? That there are those two contrasts. So so before, what I used to do was go for a run, and the pain of running kind of was my way of creating my own pain, so that I didn't have to experience pain, you know, in my life, which kind of, you know, I think it makes sense. Why wait for pain to? If you just had pleasure all the time, you know, then you may suffer in other ways, like you know, with bad health. So with the alkaline diet, you're actually create in this universal law. You're creating your own pain, aren't you? Because it's not pleasurable to drink. Well, it's not pleasurable to drink to be alkaline. So you've got those two, that contrast. You're creating your own pain, and then you're receiving the pleasure in the same way. This kind of dualistic idea that everything's has its opposites, just in the same way that when I talk to you, you're understanding its meaning because it's the contrast. It's the contrast of its actual meaning that gives its meaning. You're comparing it with its opposite to understand the meaning of what I'm saying. So, you know, it goes on. There's so many different types of opposites, you know. So yeah, that was just another little theory. So yeah, so now, so what's going to happen? So now I can try and get back to my life a little bit now. Now I'm alkaline, and may not try not to make it so much of a focus, because I've got loads to do. Yeah, so the emotional side, I've got to deal with that. You know, it's going to be a difficult thing to do, and like I said previously, there's nothing I can share with people anymore, really. I mean, like I used to, like with going to the pub with my mates, or going for a meal, and sharing something that I do to share with people. So I'm going to have to create a new strategy. Although, you know, I mean, like I said, I haven't smoked for 20 years, and I can easily spend time with people who smoke, and I just follow their pattern, you know, because I know that they'll go out at some point and go outside for a smoke, so I just follow them out, and then I'll have a little chat with them, you know. So yeah, I've adapted really well with the addiction of smoking. So I probably will adapt really well to the addiction of this of food. You know, people don't really mind if you go out and they like it. You go out there and they're having a cigarette. They can sort of, they feel like they can relax and you know, can talk. So you know, the same thing hopefully will apply to. They'll probably just get used to the idea that I'm not drinking alcohol, and I'm just eating a salad if I go to a restaurant. So yeah, these things have to be looked at and sort of understood, and also the emotions. You know, if someone upsets you, you're gonna go off the rails. So you kind of that's something else to look at. Is there anything else regarding the plan? Yeah, so I'm looking at my pH of my urine. I will be changing the mineral. You know, the minerals that I had. I told you that I was using on the second day. I'm going to change magnesium carbonate for magnesium chloride. Apparently that's, I was looking at Robert Young's lectures again, and I think magnesium chloride is absorbed better into the body. If you put the mineral salts into water, you stir it up, and then you leave it for 10 minutes or so, and then you taste it. Sometimes it tastes weak. you really need to mix it up. So you really want everything to be dissolved in the water, because that's what's going to be entering your body. It won't be entering unless it's dissolved in the water. So that's what magnesium chloride does. It can penetrate into the body more easily. And I'm not sure what the doses are. Also, I'm going to look into more different other alkalizing compounds that Dr. Robert Young mentions about, and also iodine and other things. So yeah, I'll speak to you tomorrow. Thank you.